If you were sad that Thanksgiving is so late in November this year, fear not! Because while today is not the day before Thanksgiving, it is another episode of Worth Watching Wednesdays. Alright, hello and welcome to this episode of Worth Watching Wednesdays. Today our little bit of movie news is regarding the fact that Hollywood has apparently taken a cue from radio stations and retail stores and started doing Christmassy stuff before Thanksgiving is even over. And by that, I mean that it was just announced that there is a sequel in the works for It's a Wonderful Life. Yes, the Jimmy Stewart It's a Wonderful Life. Apparently the movie would follow George Bailey's son as he is told by his angel, this time played by the actress who played Zuzu in the first movie, that he's incredibly unlikable and shown that the world actually would be a better place if he was never born. Which seems like a really dark and depressing Christmas movie, so I don't know where they're going with that, and I kind of really hope this doesn't happen, because it sounds just bad. And normally my reaction to something like this is just leave my childhood alone. I can't even say that with this one. Leave my parents' childhood alone, for crying out loud. Anyways, let me know what you think of this potential announcement in the comments down below. Alright, so for today's review / recommendation of the week, I am going to be talking about my favorite Robert Zemeckis film of all time, Forrest Gump. Now, I feel like I probably don't have to recommend this movie because it's become such a part of American pop culture that everyone knows about it, but a lot of people still haven't seen it, so I'm going to talk about it anyways. So the movie Forrest Gump is about a mentally challenged boy named Forrest Gump as he grows up and grows into being an adult and his experiences along the way. And it just so happens that due to crazy circumstances, he happens to essentially be a part of every single major world event that happened from like 1960 until 1985. And while that sounds kind of far-fetched and weird and like it sounds really forced, it actually works perfectly in the movie and makes sense within the film, which is something I really have to give the movie credit for. Because there are certain normal things that happen to Forrest that put him in these situations where his character, being his character, would get into these positions where he would meet these different famous people and be in these certain famous events and just be a part of all of that. And the best part of all is it's not even a gimmick. That's not what the movie's mostly about. That's just a side thing that's kind of in there for fun. The whole movie's about his life and his relationships and him learning and growing as a person and trying to help others. Because Forrest Gump's heart is like this big. I mean, he's just the most like awesome, lovable guy if there ever was one. Because he's just so innocent and so you instantly attach to his character because all he ever tries to do is just help other people and everything he says is completely sincere, which makes for a really great character to finally have a protagonist in a movie who's not this damaged character. He's this perfect blank slate of pure kindness that is going through life trying to help other people, and you get to follow him along his way, and he's not preachy and annoying about it. He's just a very genuine person, a very, very genuine human being who you can really root for and follow through this whole movie. And one of the things that really helps the believability of Forrest's character is the fact that he's played by Tom Hanks. And Tom Hanks in this movie just gives it his all. He dives right into the character. He makes you completely believe his performance, and again, helps you to really attach to the character and really care about him and believe him as a person. So on top of the great story and the great acting, you also have some of the most amazing visual effects from the 1990s, and the best thing about them is that you'll never even gonna know they're in the movie. And by that I mean they're done so well and integrated so perfectly into the film that there are things that you don't even question until you actually think back after the movie and go, how did they do that? And then you watch the behind the scenes featurettes on the movie and you're like, that would have been so much work. How does that look as good as it does? I mean, Forrest meets John F. Kennedy and shakes his hand, and the footage they use is like actual archive footage of John F. Kennedy, and Gary Sinise's character loses his legs halfway through the movie, and they don't just do that trick where they like just hide his legs behind stuff. I mean, no, you actually see him with no legs for a good chunk of the movie, very close up and straight on. It's really impressive and just makes you that much more engrossed in the movie because you don't even question any of these things. You just think, wow. Alright, so I absolutely love Forrest Gump, and I would recommend it to anybody who wants to actually see a real, genuine, a heartfelt, non-sappy, feel-good movie. And even if you just want to watch it for the special effects, you'll still enjoy it hugely for that as well. I would give the movie Forrest Gump a 10 out of 10. And that's it for this episode of Worth Watching Wednesdays. I hope you enjoyed it. Like the video if you liked it. Comment on what you'd like to hear me review / recommend next week. Subscribe if you want to see more. See you next time. Bye.